Good morning, Trump family. Welcome to Open Source News. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on that notifications bell so you don't miss a thing. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Let's get into the news this Wednesday morning. Well, that's true. Families are divided within households, and that's not good. POTUS will most likely be on board Air Force One when he sends out on the emergency broadcast system 7 presidential messages to everyone's phone and TV sets worldwide from their all global militaries via the U.S. military will shut down all media, internet phones, and all TV programming. Emergency services will still have theirs, so the military can broadcast 10 days of 3 8-hour sessions of video confessions, military tribunals, and lots of evidence for the scandals listed in the Storm article. While this is happening, they will be removing governments worldwide and making global arrests 500,000 indictments. Okay. Wolverine from my source on Friday, October 1st. That's interesting. Wolverine, I think, is the source for. I could be wrong on this, but Sarge talks about a source called. I think Wolverine is well on that he gets information from that. He's been getting information from for years, and the guy went quiet, and I think his name was, or his codename was, Wolverine, but I could be wrong. I'm going to check on that. Wouldn't that be interesting? I am just waiting for them to let me know what accounts are closed and settled at this time. The main thing was that Friday, October 1st, was the main deadline, so everything had to be done by Friday. There's actually a whole explosion of things that will happen on or about that time because it's the beginning of a new fiscal year. They're keeping everything very quiet while they process and settle the accounts. They want to get everything started by the 1st, and the public goes in on the 15th. Now, I think it was South Africa. I'll check in the. It was in Telegram on. Somebody posted that they were in the process of Jacera, and you know the whole thing. So remember, they're going to start the third world countries first, is what I understand, and they want to implement Nasara 20 items that will start at that point. They already let us know that the 1st is the main date. I think a lot of things happened because that was the thing, the switch over to Jacera in Africa, and I believe it was South Africa. I hope to check on that. But somewhere in Africa, and that was Saturday. So definitely things were happening. We just, we're always kept in the dark here because of our stupid mainstream media. The only thing that they're doing at the banks is doing the final contracts. They are doing those conversions. Now, once they finish with that, everything will push forward. So all I'm doing is waiting for the bond traders and paymasters. Everything else is just the small stuff. All I am doing with every group is making sure that they have made their decisions with the first 90 days. Everyone is well situated. There's nothing else to go over. The DoD has clamped down with just about everything. The main players, then the paymasters, and then we'll do the individuals. Question. This is a hypothetical, or Q. This is a hypothetical question. What happens if it does not happen on Friday? Yes, it's a hard date, and it's a new fiscal year with a new fiscal year. There are changes, and they cannot just continue. The new fiscal year implements Nasara. It is guaranteed to happen. Some of the points have already been implemented. Holly Saturday RV update. I would like to say our October 1st fiscal year has started. I heard nothing but good news yesterday. I do not want to say much. It looks like this week we should see things at our level. So things are moving along. It looks like there's no problems. So it's all done behind the scenes. Of course, it's not broadcast on CNN. Alright. And then she talks about what she talked about in the first this morning's update. She says we have, however, been given some hints about what's going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday was the last day of the mass arrests. So apparently over the weekend there were lots of arrests and resignations and dark to light Trump plus Q Great Awakening world. So now we're waiting on, I guess, the tweet, or it could be that he has one of his people around him to tweet it out, like Dan Scavino or something like that. And let's see what else we got. The first day of 10 days of darkness. Darkness is necessary. Now, that could mean just that like our TVs, we don't get any information, or the Internet shut down. It doesn't mean bad things like evil beings are going to come to ourselves. Hope not anyway. Our most expansive exposé of financial secrecy is yet to come. So, right now, China has been violating the Taiwan airspace over and over and over again, and so people are saying it's a possible invasion that's coming of Taiwan from China, and I definitely can see that in global economy crisis. I think this Pandora Papers is going to expose them. All I've heard mixed things about Pandora Papers. I mean, the storm writer had said that it could be a false flag. So, I'm not sure I have to just let that lie for now. Shares in China property giant Evergrande suspended pending major transaction, and it's not just Evergrande, dozens of Chinese firms being halted from trading in Hong Kong. It's the Soros-funded group that released the Pandora Papers, revealing offshore financial data. It could be a decoy. It could be like to distract people, and they get lost in the minutia of that. That's nothing. So I don't know, we'll see. Whiplash 347. After the largest stock market collapse in history, will the stock market even remain? I don't know. It says which will be precision cyber attacks on cabal companies that link back to executive orders. Remember, this is the one where President Trump owns Australia, and the stock exchange transfer of wealth must happen some way. I'm starting to see the evidence behind the Stellar Networks being the new stock market. Stellar equals for the people. My guess is the reason President Trump took over the stock market was to dissolve it eventually and move it to this new network. So for the people, Q says, we're going to show you a brand new world. Like I mentioned in my write-ups, many industries and existing systems will not remain. I guess that's why they're going to take the internet down, and I don't think you're going to get stuff back. So if everything does go dark, hey, thank you so much for all of your support on my channel, but we'll see. But I just wanted to say that ahead of time. It's been nice to be able to share information, and I'm glad that people could talk back and forth in the comments section, because some people are alone and they need something. They need a place to go where they can ask other people questions, and I would imagine lots and lots of people feel that way. So, I'm imagining most of this. I read Caracas, Venezuela, a new currency with 6 fewer zeros debuted. His currency has been made nearly worthless by years of the world's worst inflation. Remember, Venezuela had been taken over by communists. They say socialist, I say communist, and they had massive inflation. So this is hard to imagine how one of the most wealthy, prosperous nations in the world, Venezuela, has fallen so far. Well, guess what? We're gonna probably see it here, and hard to imagine how US could follow in these footsteps to instability, crime, and corruption. Venezuelans are using the USD right now because their currency is recognized as unstable and experiencing severe hyperinflation. This will all change once the IQD is validated and military all over the world step up and take charge to end the socialist, communist, Nazi takeover. Notice she said Nazi. Those Nazis are behind everything. I'm sure takeover that has plagued so many prosperous nations for decades simultaneously. All currencies in all the several hundred nations now participating in global trade will together benefit with their announcement of the formation of a new sovereign republic government in a new currency, including in China, which today is suffering the same death row as the US government. We shouldn't have much longer to wait. People were supposed to pay attention to Venezuela and see what a socialist country in communist country what happens. And during my days when I was young, we watched Russia. So people have to see these things, and I think our education system did not do its job in teaching people the evils of communism, because there's so many young people who think it's actually a good thing, and this is why we have to live through these kinds of experiences. Because of that, it just went too far. Hopefully, in the new system they really teach the truth about these governmental systems, and they don't act like it's some opinion, because it's an evil. There's an evil. Communism isn't a choice. It's an evil system that hurts people. You can't vote. That's infringing on everybody else's safety. Alright, let's see. Oh, it was Pfizer, and that okay. So yeah, Trump's executive order 13,818. C's. The New York Stock Exchange, and then that's Pfizer is on the newer stock exchange. So he's by default owner of Australia. Okay. UK fuel situation might need 10 days to stabilize. France heavy floods decimate southern France. Greece police and Athens have used tear gas and water cannon. 2 dispersed teachers protesting after a court ruling last week made it illegal to prolong strikes for unions. More than 100 protesters arrested as police in Melbourne, Australia cracked down on vaccine mandate demonstrators, and the police look like they're coming in from China, dressed up. Netherlands has a lot of clashes in Amsterdam because of the pass the COVID passes Israel. Nearly 2 million Israelis who haven't had their booster shot will lose quarantine. They're really hurting the people that live there. I don't think that the actual people, that just everyday people that live in Israel, go for this. I think it's the leadership like the Rockefellers, and they formed it, and I'm sure they control everything about it with Mossad. It's like a proxy state. Hopefully you folks enjoyed this chat this morning. Thank you very much. WWG1WGA. Give me your thoughts below and hit subscribe. See you again.